bodily relations. So this is her first question in 325:10, which Lord Kapil Dev answers in same chapter 12th to 27th verses. Which we learned from our Ram Nitai Prabhu. That was Adhyatmik Yoga in short. Second question was in the 28th shloka. Which devotional service to develop? Kvachitai uchita bhakti. Uchita bhakti. What kind of devotional service is worth developing and practicing to help me easily and immediately attain the service of your lotus feet? So that is answered in 31st to 44th shlokas in the same chapter. At sadhan bhakti, bhav bhakti, sadhan siddha, many things were told. We all have heard from His Grace Ram Nitai Prabhu. Whether we remember or not, he covered it everything. Then third question is in the 29th next shloka only. Nature of jnana, sankhya. Nature of that yoga system. That was answered in 26th and 27th chapters. Two full chapters were in answer to the third question only. Then fourth question was about yoga. That is in next 29th. In the 29th there only, how many ways are there by which one can understand in truth that sublime yoga? So that was answered in 28th, the whole chapter. That yoga process and all, we know how he does. Pranayam and eating, how he controls many things, the whole chapter. Then the fifth is in the 29th. So answering of these four questions went all the way up to 28th chapter. Then the 29th chapter, second verse. Explain the path of devotional service. Hare Krishna. So that was the fifth question, and answer is in the same chapter 7 to 34. Bhakti in modes, passion, ignorance, goodness, etc. All that. Then the sixth question is in the fourth verse. 29th chapter, fourth verse. Please also describe eternal time. So eternal time was answered in 35th to 45th verses of this 29th chapter only. So that was in one sense last question, but it became sixth because he answered it immediately there. And then the seventh question is in the third verse. Sixth question was in the fourth verse, but then the seventh question is in the third verse. And that is also described in detail for me, both for me and for people in general, the continual process of birth and death. Samsmritihi. So this is very elaborately answered by Lord Kapil Dev in 30th, 31st and 32nd chapters. 3 chapters, of which we are beginning with the 30th chapter. So we are seeing that 7th question in sequence 6th, but because of that Kala was answered first. So this is 7th question about samsara. So that's what we are beginning with. The chapter is entitled Description by Lord Kapila of Adverse Fruitive Activities. Anybody knows the meaning of this adverse fruitive activities? We have 2 mics. One on this side, maybe one on this side. I saw in Hindi. Huh? So answer is required. Mic is the first requirement, second is the answer. In Hindi, if you see Bhagavatam, it is Viparita Karma. Vishwana Chakravarti Thakur has given the name. Kapila describes passion in person in ignorance. This is the chapter describing person in ignorance, how he goes in his life. And also one more name is there. Adverse means See, since he is not aiming at Lord's pleasure. So any karma which is not aimed at Lord's pleasure is adverse fruitive activity. And here several fruitive activities, adverse fruitive activities are described. That is person in ignorance also. He explains, Kapila explains the pains in youth, old age, death, and hell for those agitated by attachment to wife and sons. This is what we'll be seeing in this chapter. So is it clear what is this chapter talking about? Adverse fruitive activities. As we pass through, go through, we'll come to know. So this chapter in the first 18 verses talks about life and death of a person who acts in ignorance. How does he live and how does he die also? The description of his life, death, they are all given in details. As we see, we'll come to know. 1 to 18, first 18 shlokas. And in that also first 3 verses talk about power of time. How time destroys everything. And because of that leads to the lamentation. The power of time, which we will see in the first verse itself. So please repeat after me. Some of the verses we may have recitation. You will repeat after me. Some will just go through as per the time. Kapila uvacha tasya jano nunam nayam vedoru vikramam kalyamanopi balino Vayoriva Ghanavalihi. Translation: the personality of Godhead said, as a mass of clouds does not know the powerful influence of the wind, a person engaged in material consciousness does not know the powerful strength of the time factor by which he is being carried. So you may read the purport, one of you. 1 minute, you take a microphone. Here.
Hare Krishna. The great politician Pandita named Chanakya said that even one moment of time cannot be returned even if one is prepared to pay millions of dollars. One cannot calculate the amount of loss there is in wasting valuable time, either materially or spiritually. One should be very alert in utilizing the time which he has at his disposal. A conditioned soul lives in a particular body for a fixed measurement of time. And it is recommended in the scriptures that within that small measurement of time, one has to finish Krishna consciousness and thus gain release from the influence of time factor. But unfortunately, those who are not in Krishna consciousness are carried away by the strong power of time without their knowledge, as clouds are carried by the wind.
Yes. So this word here is Kalyamano api balino, which Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says is sometimes read as balina also. Balina means with force. Time is forcing us to pass through so many varieties of things in this world. So time, we know, we have to use it very carefully. As Chanakya Pandit says, Prabhupada is quoting, that it is very, very rare. Money lost can be gained, but time lost cannot be regained, not possible only. So we have to be conscious of time to enter in timeless zone. What is the timeless zone? Spiritual world. But for that, here we have to be highly conscious. Is it not wrong to be conscious of time? We are not Krishna conscious. Time is Krishna. Yes, isn't it? Time is Krishna only. So that's how we are very conscious. Prabhupada said, first be conscious and then be conscious of Krishna, Krishna conscious. So we have to be conscious of everything. That is the mode of goodness. And then when we go to pure goodness, we are conscious of Krishna. So that's why Sattva Gun is very much recommended. And by serving great souls, Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, by serving them, Tada Rajastamo Bhava, Kama Lobha Adeshe. We'll come to the mode of goodness. This is spiritual mode of goodness, not the mundane goodness in which person is very cozy in his comfortable life of eating, sleeping, etc. So Prabhupada is saying, either materially or spiritually, one should be very alert in utilizing the time which he has at his disposal. So that is the beginning. Next. Yam yam artham upadate dukkhena sukha hetave tam tam dhunoti bhagavan puman shochati yat krute. Whatever is produced by the materialist with great pain and labor, dukkhena sukha hetave, for so-called happiness, the Supreme Personality as the time factor. This Bhagavan word is for the time factor, destroys, and for this reason, the conditioned soul laments. So these first three verses are talking about the influence of time, power of time, and how it destroys everything and leading to lamentation. So person laments. Yes, read the purport.
The main function of the time factor, which is a representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is to destroy everything. The materialists in material consciousness are engaged in producing so many things in the name of economic development. They think that by advancing in satisfying the material needs of men, they will be happy. But they forget that everything they have produced will be destroyed in due course of time. From history, we can see that there were many powerful empires on the surface of the globe that were constructed with great pain and great perseverance. But in due course of time, they have all been destroyed. Still, the foolish materialist cannot understand that they are simply wasting time in producing material necessities, which are destined to be vanquished in due course of time. This waste of energy is due to the ignorance of the mass of people who do not know that they are eternal and that they have an eternal engagement also. They do not know that this pain of life in a particular type of body is but a flesh in eternal journey. Not knowing this fact, they take the small flesh of life to be everything, and they waste time in improving economic conditions.
So the main function of time is to destroy everything. Which shloka is that? Okay, that is about life. Life with every rising and setting. Kalosmi lokashaya krut pravruddho. In Bhagavad Gita. Time I am the destroyer of everything. It will take some time. Okay. So if somebody has Veda base in Bhumi Gita, we want to read a little bit. Only the translations. 12.2.40 to 44 also. Ramita Bro has, no? You may read. Only translations. 12 to second chapter, 40 onwards. And then third chapter also. Only translations. Prabhupada is saying that from history we can see that there were many powerful empires on the surface of the globe that were constructed with great pain and great perseverance. But in due course of time, they have all been destroyed. Roman Empire, and so many other empires, British Empire. 12 to 40. Next is Bhumi Git, but this is the not Bhagavad Gita. We want Bhagavatam. Huh. You may read. Only translations.
Oh. My dear King Parikshit, all these kings I have described, as well as all other human beings, come to this earth and stake their claims, but ultimately they all must give up this world and meet their destruction. Even though a person's body may now have the designation king, in the end, its name will be worms, stool, and ashes. What can a person who injures others, other living beings, for the sake of his body, know about his own self interest, since his activities are simply leading him to hell? The materialistic king thinks this unbounded earth was held by my predecessors and is now under my sovereignty. How can I arrange for it to remain in the hands of my sons, grandsons, and other descendants? Although the foolish Accept the body made of earth, water, and fire as me, and this earth as mine. In every case, they have ultimately abandoned both their body and the earth and passed away into oblivion. My dear King Parikshit, all these kings who tried to enjoy the earth by their strength were reduced by the force of time to nothing more than historical accounts.
Now 13 more verses. Just the translation, just to see the effect of time.
Shukdev Goswami said, seeing the kings of this earth busy trying to conquer her, the earth herself laughed. She said, just see how these kings who are actually playthings in the hands of death are desiring to conquer me. Great rulers of men, even those who are learned, meet frustration and failure because of material lust. Driven by lust, these kings place great hope and faith in the dead lump of flesh called the body, even though the material frame is as fleeting as bubbles of foam on water. Kings and politicians imagine, first I will conquer my senses and mind, then I will subdue my chief ministers and rid myself of the thorn pricks of my advisors, citizens, friends, and relatives, as well as the keepers of my elephants. In this way, I will gradually conquer the entire earth. Because the hearts of these leaders are bound by great expectations, they fail to see death waiting nearby. After conquering all the land of my surface, these proud kings forcibly enter the ocean to conquer the sea itself. What is the use of their self control, which is aimed at political exploitation? The actual goal of self control is spiritual liberation. O best of the Kurus, the earth continued as follows. Although in the past great men and their descendants have left me, departing from this world in the same helpless way they came into it, even today foolish men are trying to conquer me. For the sake of conquering me, materialistic persons fight one another. Fathers oppose their sons, the brothers fight one another because their hearts are bound to possessing political power. Political leaders challenge one another. All this land is mine. It's not yours, you fool. Thus, they attack one another and die. Such kings as Prithu, Pururava, Gadhi, Nahush, Bharat, Kartavirya Arjun, Mandhata, Sagar, Ram, Khatwang, Dunduha, Raghu, Trinab, Bindu, Yayati, Sharyati, Shantanu, Gaya, Bhagirath, Kuvalashva, Kakutstha, Naishadh, Nrga, Hiranyakashipu, Vratra, Ravana, who made the whole world lament, Namuchi, Shambara, Bhauma, Hiranyaksha, and Taraka, as well as many other demons and kings who possessed great powers of control over others, were all full of knowledge, heroic, all conquering, and unconquerable. Nevertheless, O mighty Lord, although they lived their lives intensely trying to possess me, these kings were subject to the passage of time, which reduced them all to mere historical accounts. None of them could permanently establish their rule.
Mhm. Yeah, but that Ram, Acharya have told some other explanation. We'll not get into that. But basically, big empires had been there and they have been lost in oblivion. Mm, They say in Hindi, Namo Nishan mid jayega. So first their Nishan gets destroyed. Their land, something they might have constructed. And name remains, but for a while, for some more time. And then eventually, name is also gone. So that is the effect of time. It destroys everything. Third, यदध्रुवस्य देहस्य सानुबन्धस्य दुर्मतिः ध्रुवाणि मन्यते मोहाद् Graha Kshetra Vasuni cha. The misguided materialist does not know that his very body is impermanent and that the attractions of home, land, and wealth, which are in relationship to that body, are also temporary. Out of ignorance only, he thinks that everything is permanent. So, we'll go a little quickly through the purport. Materialist person thinks that devotees engaged in Krishna consciousness are crazy fellows wasting time by chanting Hare Krishna. But actually, he does not know that he himself is in the darkest region of craziness because of accepting his body as permanent. So Prabhupada said that, materialists think that devotees are crazy, and devotees know that they are crazy. So who is true? Devotees, because we are devotees. Any other reason? Any other answer? Krishna says, okay, sorry, you had something to say.
Devotees are crazy for Krishna. And
Hmm.
materialists are crazy for materialism.
Yes, so being crazy is must. So Krishna says that materialists are crazy. That means it is proved. And Lord says that is final. Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhaya. Or Mahajanas are also saying. So that way. Second paragraph you can read maybe. Prabhupada talking about Graha Kshetra Vasuni. Out of illusion, the family, national life, national life, and economic development, which are very important factors in modern civilization, have grown. A Krishna conscious person knows that his economic development of human society is but temporary illusion. Yes, you may read the second.
Clear.
In another part of Srimad Bhagavatam,
In another part of Srimad Bhagavatam, the acceptance of the body as oneself, the acceptance of others as kinsmen in relationship to this body, and the acceptance of the land of one's birth as worshipable are declared to be the products of an animal civilization.
which verse is that? Yasyatma buddhi Kunapitri dhatu ke swadhi kalatra dishudhauma ijjadi yattirtha buddhi salilena karichit janeshu abhigneshu sayeva gokharaha. So that is translation. We can see how Prabhupada's many things are translations only or paraphrase translation. Somewhere in the fourth canto onwards, Prabhupada started giving verse and in the translation as we are accustomed to. But up to fourth canto, some chapter somewhere, we'll find not verses quoted like that. Little bit line here and there. You'll not find the way usual, like, what do you call? Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajati ante kalavantam tameveti kaunte. And then the translation that was not used by Prabhupada. You'll find that somewhere in fourth canto he begins that way. Little bit in the third canto, sometimes little glimpse of that, but not yet. Then fourth canto onwards, it is very nicely described. But anyway, this is translation of that only, or paraphrase translation, explanation. Everything Prabhupada writes in the purport is somewhere there as shloka. We may be shastra, we may be aware of, we may not be aware of. So here we can very clearly understand that this is the shloka Prabhupada is giving. Yes.
When, however, one is enlightened in Krishna consciousness, he can use these for the service of the Lord. That is very suitable proposition. Everything has a relationship with Krishna. When all economic development and material advancement are utilized to advance the cause of Krishna consciousness, a new phase of progressive life arises.
So this is our goal, to use everything in Krishna's service. Idham mi pumsas. No? Tapasah shrutasya va svishtasya suktasya buddhidyuktayo avichuto kabhi bhi nirupita yaduttama shloka gunanuvarnanam. Vyasdev and Narad Muni conversation, wherein pure devotional service is described. So there he is saying that everything one has knowledge of, art, science, commerce, engineering, one should use it for yaduttama shloka gunanuvarnanam, for his glorification. Lord Uttam shloks, Lord Krishna's glorification. So these are the first three verses, first section. Are you all clear? Any question on this? Yeah, this is basic. All of us had been hearing this. Now, fourth and fifth, two slokas talk about how a living entity finds a particular satisfaction in any kind of species, even in hell. Hmm. One makes things suitable. Like yesterday, somebody in Bhagavatam class was saying, our Kadam Krishna Prabhu only, that you may find discomfort in a new place wherever you go. It's too hot for me. But after 15 days also, you settle with it. You adjust with the whole thing. So, like that is the conditioning of the living entity. Wherever he is and whichever body he is in, he is happy with it. And no matter what happens, he is not ready to give it up. He gets attached to it. So, that is being explained. In the words of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, his foolishness of the living entity is described in the fourth verse. Jantur Vaibhava etasmin yam yam yonim anuvrajet tasyam salabhate nirrutim na virajate. The living entity, in whatever species of life he appears, yam yam yonim anuvrajit, he obtains, finds a particular type of satisfaction in that species, and he is never averse to being situated in such a condition. Na virajate, nirrutim, doesn't want to give it up. He is satisfied there. So this is the condition. Prabhupada in the purport says, the satisfaction of the living entity in a particular type of body, even if it is most abominable, is called illusion. So this is what whole of this section, maybe at least the 31st chapters, should make us completely convinced that I don't want to take birth again. It's very horrible. The further description will make it clear to us. I don't want any more body. Certainly, therefore, that solution is Krishna consciousness only, which Mother Devoti herself will give in the last 33rd chapter. Aho bata shwapacho ato garyan yajjivhagre vartate namatobhyam te pustapaste juhu shashnurarya brahmanuchur nama ghananti yete. Those whose tips are decorated, tips of the tongue are decorated with Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. They have done all sacrifices, visiting all holy places, taking dips in all holy waters, everything that the Vedas recommend, everything is done. They have reached culmination, perfection. So this section, all these chapters will prove how I don't want body. What a horrible thing we are caught up in. This was the worst thing that happened that we did. We left Krishna, came to this world, and what kind of unlimited sufferings we are going through. That is all coming up here. Prabhupada says, a man in a higher position may feel dissatisfaction with the standard of life of a lower grade man, but the lower grade man is satisfied in that position because of the spell of Maya, the external energy. In the trains and all, you find such kind of beggars come. Both the legs are not there. He is going on that trolley kind of, sometimes his hand also difficult. He has that. How many of you seen in the hand he has that wooden or rubber thing? Because he has to pull it, na? Chappal. How many of you seen? See how he has adjusted. So amazingly. So living entity knows how to adjust everywhere to continue with the same body. He doesn't want to give it up. When Brihaspati cursed Indra to become a hog, and eventually when Brihaspati, his turn was over, Brahma came maybe, come back to heavenly planet. What happened? Was Indra ready? How many of you heard what I said? Or that was more appealing? He was trying to adjust. Devotees are the most intelligent living entities. So how will a devotee not prove that he adjusts in the most best possible ways? Yes. So he was not ready. Indra got attached to that. He said, I have my kingdom here, whole kingdom of gutter, water, and my queens, my piglets, all are there. Ultimately, he had to be killed. His relatives had to be killed. Then only. But लातों के भूत बातों से नहीं मानते. So he had to be killed. Similarly, Kailas also. How many lifetime after lifetimes he is ready to settle there only, not ready to come out. So that is how the illusion is very strong. Even in the hell, a living entity adjusts. Eventually, Prabhupada will tell in the purport. Like somebody is supposed to be in the hog's body. So training is given. He is put in a huge pond of stool and is thrown there. Somehow he cannot completely sink. So he remains and then nothing, no food to eat. So after some hours, he feels hungry. There's no food, nothing. Time is passing by, his hunger is increasing. So out of another thing, he just takes a little bit and puts in the mouth and he spits it out. So bad, you know. The time is passing by. Some more hours, 1, 2. Hunger is increasing. So then he takes a little bit. Now he cannot spit because there's no other option. So somehow with that frowning face, and then he will take little more and then little more and little more. And as soon as he is completely satisfied, he's happy eating that, immediately he's put in the body of a hog. So the semen of a he hog, he will go in the female hog's womb because he has now become qualified. So that kind of training is there by Maya's arrangement, by Yamduta's Yamras arrangement. That is how the drunkards we can see how they are in the pathetic situation. The Radhesham Pro was telling in IIT days, he found one person drunk fully and he fell down in the gutter. Gutter water was running through his nose. And still he was going on like that. I found recently while coming from airport, I was seeing that one dog was not having one leg only. Only 3 legs were there. And this was completely from the root where it touches the body. Somehow because of some accident or something. But then he was running on the 3 legs and he was going on. There will be some discomfort in comparison to the earlier 4th leg when all 4 legs were there. But he adjusts. Everybody learns to adjust. So that is because of illusion. Maya is very powerful. And Prabhupada talks about Avaranatmika and Prakshapatmika Shaktis. She throws us from one body to another body like a football. That is called as throwing. Prakshapatmika, throwing Prakshapan, missile. And the next is covering. So throwing is like kicking potency. It's like dukkha. And covering is like sukha. So like that, we all have been covered by Maya. Maya is very, very powerful. And she's so expert, like a football. The game many times is very high class because the football is almost not allowed to touch the ground only as far as possible. Before even it could touch the ground, immediately the next player just kicks it. And then again it goes in the air. Sometimes it may touch, but their goal is as much as possible to keep kicking it. So like that, Maya is, in fact, those football players are no one in comparison to Maya. Maya is there everywhere and she keeps kicking a living entity in all his bodies from one place to another. Even a hog who lives by eating stool finds himself happy, although a person in a higher mode of life sees that the hog is eating stool. How abominable that life is. We may feel abominable, but that person is happy. Similarly, demigods also seeing our enjoyment, they feel pity on us. We don't get ghee and they eat only in ghee. And like that, they have such fragrant items, we don't have all that. So they feel pity on us. But then demigods are also pitied by other living entities. So pitying the pitied, like that. That is how life goes on. Next verse, he says, the conditioned living entity is satisfied in his own particular species of life, while deluded by the covering influence of the illusory energy. He feels little inclined to cast off his body, even when in hell, or he takes delight in hellish enjoyment. Little inclined means he's not ready to give up that body. Narak kyam, hellish. So Vishwanath Chaudhary Thakur says the enjoyments of hell, the food, association of women, items he obtains there. So that way he has some enjoyment. So like in the Narak, kind of conditions are there in this body also, but the living entity is happy. Prabhupada talks about the man who was about to die. in Allahabad or somewhere. And what did that man request the doctor? Just extend my life by 4 years. I have some plans to execute. So he's not ready to give up the body only. Even in ICU and all tubes going all over the body, but a person doesn't want to die. And Prabhupada said, was he okay with going to hospital and getting all that ventilator? What was Prabhupada's reply? Chant Hare Krishna. True. Prabhupada said, let us die peacefully. His Holiness Tamakishna Maharaj said, Prabhupada, even Sridhar Maharaj or somebody, he was taken to hospital and all that, but after 6 months or so, he left body. Prabhupada said, that's it. And this is no use. Let us die peacefully. That doesn't mean that we should not go. His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj is completely against it. Prabhupada was against. You know, when Prabhupada was in the hospital, Brahmanand Prabhu, he requested, take me out of here. And Brahman Prabhu did take Prabhupada out of it. And what did Prabhupada bless him? Huh? You will never have to go to hospital. And you can see how it came true. In the last stage, he was quite sick. His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj told him, please come. In Delhi, we have very nice hospital, etc. But he was reluctant, but ultimately because Maharaj is telling, so he was sitting in the van or something, and then only he left body. So Prabhupada's blessing, he'll never have to enter in hospital. So he did not enter only. He left body in Vrindavan only. So that doesn't mean that we don't have to go. But the point is, ultimately we have to die only. Nobody can, as far as material body goes, nobody can do anything for anyone. One thing we can do, we can pray. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So that certainly devotees do. But as far as the person himself is concerned, he should become detached, Jivan Mukta. He should know. Prabhupada was like that on the last stage. Earlier in 68 or so, when he had that stroke, devotee said, Prabhupada, please don't leave us. We want you. Our moment is hardly small and all. So Prabhupada said, okay, if you so desire, then pray to Narsingh in all our temples, have 24-hour kirtans, and pray, oh Lord, if you so desire, please give some more time to our master. He has not yet finished his mission. So Lord agreed. Same thing now, years later in 77, when ISKCON is so big, so many temples, Prabhupada could have told. They wanted Prabhupada to be very much on planet, continuing to lead ISKCON. They could have said that, but Prabhupada did not agree. Prabhupada said, Kichu ichha nahi. Now time has come, I should leave. So one should be ready to leave the body also. In fact, much before the time of death comes, one should detach oneself from the body. So this attachment to body is very strong. All the things, morning, the moment we get up, till we sleep in the night, and for night time also, we make all arrangements for our body. No, all like yesterday night, I was telling a little bit more, open the window because it's too hot. We don't want fan, but open the window more, like that. Because I was knowing still that it may catch a little cold. So the chadar was also there. So all arrangements we make for body, but body is very miserable. What is that? Shatasandhi jarjaram. Patati avashyam shatasandhi jarjaram. So that we have to be completely convinced eventually. By the influence of Maya, the conditioned soul becomes so affectionate towards his particular type of body that if he is offered, give up this body and immediately you will have a king's body, he will not agree. और पता नहीं मिलेगा कि नहीं किंग का बॉडी ना. This is fine. This attachment strongly affects all conditioned living entities. Lord Krishna is personally canvassing, give up everything in this material world, come to me and I shall give you all protection. But we are not agreeable. We think we are quite all right. Why should we surrender unto Krishna and go back to his kingdom? This is called illusion or Maya. Everyone is satisfied with his standard of living, however abominable it may be. You have heard that Prabhupada telling one story. That cartoon is also there. That one fisher woman, she was selling fishes and all. And then her friend was also there. She would sell flowers. So one day it became too late. She said, you stay in my place only. So she said, you keep your basket of some fishes remaining, you stay, keep them there, and you can sleep inside. There were many flowers there in that room. So she slept, and 1 hour passed, 2 hours passed. So she was uh, not able to get sleep, fisherwoman. So ultimately, something happened. And the morning, when her friend came, she did not find her there. And she was wondering what happened. Where is she gone? Then the next room where the basket of fishes was there, she was sleeping there, and she woke her up and asked, "What happened?" She said that room in which all your flowers, it was thinking like anything. I was not able to get sleep only. So then I came to this room, and here I could sleep peacefully. And there it was, a basket full of fishes. So how conditioned one becomes. She's in the mode of ignorance, kind of, and this lady is in the mode of goodness. But whatever abominable condition, one wants to continue there only. Similarly, when Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur visited Burma, there they would make one preparation. What is it called? Nakila. You know? So basically, either they have a dead dog or they kill a dog and put it in a pit of water and they allow it to rot for 15 days or so. Then they take out the soup and they serve everyone in the and then something masala, something they may add like that if required. And then everybody enjoys like anything, they have big feast, it's a Sunday feast for them. And when Bhaktivinoda Thakur was staying in one building, he was cooking for Krishna. So naturally in ghee, pure ghee. So when he was cooking, naturally the smell of ghee through the windows, etc., went in the building. So they came running and they banged the door, open the door, open the door, open the door. And he had to open. So what happened? So what is that nasty stuff you are cooking here? It's so obnoxious. We are not able to. What is that? He said, it's a ghee. I'm cooking for Krishna. This is very bad. Please don't do that here. We are very disgusted with it. So you can see how everybody is. The modes act on everyone. So whatever abominable condition one is in, he is very satisfied with that. He cannot replace it, adjust with anything else. So this we have to come out of. Then 6th and 8th, these two verses, not the 7th. 6th and 8th talk about impetus for family life. That is deep-rooted attraction for family, especially women and children. The 6th and 8th, impetus for family life. Deep-rooted attraction. Atmajaya sutagara Pashu Dravina Bandhushu Nirudha Mularudhaya Atmanam Bahumanyate. Such satisfaction with one's standard of living is due to deep-rooted attraction for body, wife, home, children, animals, wealth, and friends. In such association, the conditioned soul thinks himself quite perfect. You get satisfied there. So, Nirudha Mula Rudhaya. Vishwanath Thakur says, he whose heart has grown roots of attachment. His heart has grown the roots of attachment. Like tree spreads the roots, like that his heart has these roots of attachment. Attachment to wife, attachment to child, attachment to daughter, attachment to money, attachment to car, attachment to this, that. You can see this very well, like many places where youth centers are there. And the owner, he says, oh, come on, don't put nails and no frames and all that. Table you can have, and on table you can keep your frame, etc. And in between, he'll keep visiting what you have done. So sometimes you would have to put all the way long string, from there to here, this window to that window, and put our photos, Prabhupada, etc. The owner will make sure you cannot put a nail like that. And he will come, what is this? You'll find there, where the entrance of the door, devotee sometimes put hand there. So that portion will become black. What is this? And the paint is gone, destroyed here. You have to repent it. How much they have attachment. Read the purport.
This so-called perfection of human life is a concoction. Therefore, it is said that the materialist, however materially qualified he may be, is worthless because he is hovering on the mental plane, which will drag him again to the material existence of the temporary life. One who acts on the mental plane cannot get promotion to the spiritual. Such a person is always sure to glide down again to material life.
In the association of so-called society, friendship, and love, the conditioned soul appears completely satisfied.
Like this verse, there are so many others. Dehapatya kalatradishu atmasannishwa satswapi. Yasyatma buddhi gunapedra dhatoke. Swati kalatradishu bhauma ijjati. His wife and is very much attached. But if one is attached to Krishna, then that is perfection. One who acts on the mental plane cannot get promotion to the spiritual. That's why one has to give up mental plane. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmannevatmana tushtaha sitas pragyas tadochyate. One who gives up all varieties of desires starting from because of mental concoction. प्रजहाति यदा कामान सर्वान पार्थ मनोगतान, ये इसका मनोगत है. He thinks this is what will make me happy, but it is concoction. It cannot make him happy. So one has to give up all such desires. Then he can get situated to spiritual plane. Jiva Goswami says that for a devotee, intellectual plane is itself spiritual plane, because the intellectual plane is hearing from Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. So that he knows I should not go by my mental dictates. I should follow what my Guru says, Shastra says, Sadhu says. And then that itself is devotional service. Then 7th and 9, 10, next three, not next three, 7th verse and 9 and 10 talk about constant anxiety to maintain family. That is described by Lord Kapila. And that leads to committing violence and eventually going to hell. Although he is always burning with anxiety, such a fool always performs all kinds of mischievous activities. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, I think, mischievous activities means sinful activities, with a hope which is never to be fulfilled, in order to maintain his so-called family and society. Udvahanam, Udvahan, for maintaining. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, protecting, feeding, showing affection, managing, marrying of his family members. So that is all, he's completely into it. All throughout goes that only. Prabhupada in purport says, it is said that it is easier to maintain a great empire than to maintain a small family, especially in these days when the influence of Kali Yuga is so strong that everyone is harassed and full of anxieties because of accepting the false presentation of Maya's family. The family we maintain is created by Maya. It is perverted reflection of the family in Krishna Lok. Krishnera samsara kari chhadi anacha. So we have attraction, attachment to each other. Is it wrong? If I'm attached to Mahavira Prabhu, no? Sayeva sadhu shukruto. Then moksha dwaram apavritam. He will open the doors of his room to me. Come and become my roommate. I have a lot of things to share with you for whole life, for life after life. So that's why I sometimes scared of that door. So attachment to a devotee is good on the spiritual plane because he gives me Krishna. So with that kind of understanding, in that way, in family life, affection, it is said, word used between husband and wife. If the husband sees my wife is so Krishna conscious, she's always doing this or that, means Krishna conscious. Like that. And similarly, wife also sees my husband is so obedient to my spiritual master, our spiritual master. So then that is perfect. That is based on Krishna in center. That is ideal grihastha life. But if it is only based on some superficial material thing, then that will only take one to hell, as is being described over here. Our famous devotee, poet Vidyapati says, what does he say? Somebody said already. Tatala saikete varibindu sama sutamita ramani samaje. You will tell the explanation, meaning.
There's no happiness in the society, friendship, and love of this world. It's like a drop in the desert, a drop of water in the desert that only increases the thirst. It does not satisfy.
Yes. So one who is in the desert and desperate, thirsty for water, is completely tormented with thirst. And then if somebody gives him one drop of water, that is of no use, rather increases the thirst all the more. So Sutta Mita Ramani Samaji. It seems Prabhupada has taken these words from there only. What is that? Family, uh, society, friendship, and love. Sutta Mita Ramani. Mitra, Sutta, children, family, Ramani. Friendship, society, and love. So that is not going to satisfy us. As long as we are attached to this asat, temporary, non-existing society and family, we are always full of anxiety. Tatsadhu manne asuravarya dehinam sada samudvigna dhiyam asadgrahan hitvatmapatam grahamandakupam vanam gato yad harimashrayeta. Prahlad Maharaj said to his father, asadgrahat, hitvatmapatam grahamandakupam. Before that, Tatsadhamane Asurvare Dehinam Sada Samudvigna, he will be always disturbed. He cannot focus in Krishna consciousness. So next, 8.1 talks about his impetus for family life. He gives heart and senses to a woman who falsely charms him with Maya. He enjoys solitary embraces and talking with her, and he is enchanted by the sweet words of the small children. Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says this woman is unchaste woman. That means she is not a devotee, though she may happen to be his wife only. Prahlad Maharaj also says, Katham Priyaya Anukampitaya, that how one is attached to his wife, who speaks very nicely, sweetly, and she satisfies two senses, the tongue and genitals. And then children are born, they speak in very broken language, and that is so dear. Then the household, animals, and furniture, servants, what not one gets attached to. So one should become detached from all these things. Especially women, eventually it is made clear also, man is a trap for a woman and woman is a trap for a man. So that is coming in later chapters. But woman looks very beautiful and one will get attracted. Sharat Padmotsavam Vaktram Vachascha Shravanamritam Rudhayam Kshura Dharabham Strinam Ko Veda Cheshtitam. The materialistic woman, her description is given. Sharat Padmotsavam Vaktram. Her face in the youthful days appears like fully blossomed lotus flower in autumn season. Sharat Padmotsavam, Utsav, Padma Utsav. Lotus is all glowing, growing everywhere. Vachasa Shravanamritam, and words are very sweet for hearing. Rudhayam Kshura Dharabham, but the heart is like sharp blade, cutting. Strinam Koveda Cheshtitam. Who can understand? This is about materialistic women, not devotee women, who are very clear that our goal is Krishna. Krishna is my real husband, husband of my husband is Krishna. So that kind of thought is a devotee woman. But otherwise, man is a trap for a woman and woman is a trap for a man in this material world. A conditioned soul is shackled by the charming beauty of a woman, by her solitary embraces and talks of so-called love, and by the sweet words of his small children. Womanly love is just to agitate the mind of man, Strinam Asatinam, and then sweet words, all that. That is all Grahastha. One is therefore advised to become a Grahastha and not a Grahamedi towards the end. The Grahastha's concern is to get out of the family life created by illusion and enter into real family life with Krishna. Whereas the Grahamedi's business is to repeatedly chain himself to so-called family life in one life after another and perpetually remain in the darkness of Maya. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has made statement, when I enter in house, I find the whole house turned into Golok Vrindavan, because all are Krishna conscious, fully Krishna conscious. So if that is the case, then one may continue in that way. Still attachment should not be there. Attachment should be for Hari Guru Vaishnavas. His Holiness Radhana Swami Maharaj said, when he asked His Grace Stok Krishna Prabhu, so Stoka, are you ready? Means ready to leave body. He said, yes, I'm ready. Like that. So Maharaj said the way he said it, and I could see it, that he was ready. So it's very difficult. He had a wife, he had a daughter, newly born, hardly few months old, but he was ready like that. So he's attached to Guru more, completely attached. So that kind of example is of a Grahastha example. Yes. Take the mic. Completely up. Up. Volume may not be. The other one you take.
Just a little clarification is required that Bhaktivinoda Thakur's quote, you was actually saying that whenever,
Quote.
whenever actually I go to home, I see that my children's and wife is a devotee and everything is Vaikuntha. That is for like, if that is there, then the person can be continue after this like 50 years or so.
That's a big discussion.
So it is like
Revati Bro can tell.
actually because
Our Sarvalakshan Bro. Management
Because-
comes in picture, I believe.
no, I'm not talking. Like,
The scriptures
I'm
say Panchashovardham Vanam Brajit. After
Yeah.
50, one should just leave home.
because
For that, in ISKCON's current case, as I understand, as I have heard, the devotee should, responsibilities should be handed over to his son, etc. And he and his wife, both husband wife, they should be more engaged in services in the temple. A husband could do DT worship, Mataji could do garland making. More or less, they stay in temple only. If temple allows, they can take prasad also all the time there only. Just go home for sleeping. Otherwise, just for prasadam they may go. Otherwise, more or less whole time they make temple only their house. Just like brahmacharis, like that. Only thing brahmacharis stay in brahmachari ashram. They may have to go home. So as much as possible, they should just dedicate themselves for ISKCON activities.
because nowadays this philosophy is more prevalent that okay, if the devotees are there in home, so where the things are actually going on nicely.
Yeah, that if it is really, if it ensures he's staying at home with his wife, children, he's going back home, back to Godhead, then he may stay at home. But many times one may materially become attached, or maybe already attached, and it may deepen his attachment. So better make that attachment lesser and lesser by being attached to Hari Guru Vaishnavas in the temple. Make the deities in the temple as the center of their lives. And home deities can be worshipped by his son, daughter-in-law, etc. He need not worry so much about all those things. He can focus his attention more on this side as much as is possible. And for all practical details, he should better consult the president of the GBC or whatever, Guru, like that. Under their guidance, he should do. They will know how many attachments really he's attached to house life, or he's very detached. He's kind of Jivan Mukta at home. Then they may say, okay, you continue at home only. Keep preaching the way you are doing everything. So that is fine. I have practically was there in the class when His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj was asked question by one devotee, Indian, settled in America, kind of having job, that Maharaj, we want to come to Mumbai, but here the rates are so high. It's quite difficult, high living, etc. So we find it difficult and all that. So Maharaj immediately said, what is the need for you to come here? You are doing well there in America, and you are preaching there to some few, whatever, 10, 15 people. You are doing well. You can come once in a year to Mumbai, I mean, to Yatra and all that. That association you take, otherwise you go and be in the, there only preach. So he was recommended by Guru, though he was not 50 plus, he was 50 minus. The Guru recommended that he goes there and continues preaching there. In future, the Guru may tell him also to come back. That Guru will see. Each Guru has to see. So one should be in well touch with Guru. If not Guru, at least some representative of Guru, whether the president, counselor, or whatever it is.
They are always saying the
this is not practical, or but Prabhupada is writing in his purport's practical life. And when should that time come? One should practice this.
That because there are so many dynamics, that's why I said Guru or Guru's representative should decide. One should be so submissive and he should do that. Some gurus
Because
tell,
we-
like there are
because
gurus
we
and
are-
there are disciples.
Like-
See, it's not a argumentative
No, not
discussion.
argument. This,
Yes.
this is principle.
This
What
is
you are speaking,
principle, but the
principle, but-
principle according to time, place, circumstances has to be applied.
Yes,
That is
time
true.
place is there, but I am just asking you. But now we are also guru, means little guru,
We, have,
Siksha guru.
we should not think. I
No,
am
no, no,
guru.
not we should not thinking, but Siksha. You are also giving somebody's counseling,
Hmm.
and that counseling means like some guidelines. You
Hmm.
are also giving.
Hmm.
But so many times this brahmachari also, some student is coming, must ask Prabhuji, what should I do? I should marry or I should job or join brahmachari. That time brahmachari says, no, little bit wait you and then do some job and then come. And when he comes in the ashram, then after 40, he go to counselor and ask, Prabhuji, my mindset is not proper.
Okay, I
But sir,
understand the practical
you are
difficulty.
giving, we are giving that then advice, you should go out and marry
Yes.
after 40. And then how is possible to
Impossible is the word.
Hmm.
See,
So-
I'm not joking. Basically, Krishna arranges. We all have to have faith. He served as a brahmachari for some years, decades. Krishna has made arrangement. I don't see anyone so much suffering
my
like that.
question is, we one should speak principle straightly. Don't means go here, there, and here and there. What your Prabhupada is speaking, this principle.
Yeah, that
we should
principle
speak.
comes and we read it also.
Ah.
But when it comes to practical life, we have
No,
to-
not. We should don't bring outside example. Only Prabhupada example, and we should go ahead.
okay, ठीक है.
Hare
So
Krishna.
Prabhupada example also, some examples may be there. I don't remember now. In our life, we should follow the scriptural rules and regulations.
No, we are not Grasta. This is a discussion all on the Grasta life. So
Yeah,
we should
so-
speak only and go ahead.
Yeah,
Means
okay,
we
thank
are
you. Sorry
speaking
in
in-
case you are hurt. I beg
No,
forgiveness.
not hard. I am speaking. Our forum is now we are speaking Bhagavatam Prabhupada purport.
Hmm.
And we are bringing outside example. There's so many thousands of example is there.
Hmm.
So people may be confused.
They will not be confused. If they are sheltered in Hari Guru Vaishnavas, nobody will be confused. Who gets confused? Who doesn't ready to, he's not ready to surrender to Hari Guru Vaishnava. Such a person will be confused to that degree as much as he's not surrendered. We don't have to worry. All of us are very clear about the whole thing. What am I supposed to do in my life? We are very clear.
No,
And as
not
for others, we have to give choice for so many other reasons. We'll discuss it in personal basis. You can come to room. Yes.
Prabhupada also spoke principle. Once sannyasi asked Prabhupada, if sannyasi is getting the thoughts of marriage, Prabhupada says he should commit suicide. And one of the sannyasi committed suicide and Prabhupada started crying.
Hmm.
And I spoke principle, but when the practical comes, another sannyasi came, Prabhupada, I am a sannyasi and thoughts of marriage is coming, so I will go and commit suicide. Don't do it, Prabhupada says. Better you marry and continue Krishna
Prabhupada was
consciousness.
very
So
practical also.
Prabhupada spoke principle and Prabhupada gave practical guidance. There is
Yeah.
difference.
Yes.
Many times it
Prabhupada was
happens.
against divorce, but one of the couple came. Prabhupada said yes. And afterwards he was asked, Prabhupada, how? But you are so much against it. Prabhupada said, otherwise also they are going for divorce. So if they do that, in that case, that would be Guru Avagya. And they'll go to hell for that. So better I allow them. Rather than going to hell, better they will suffer, but fine. So we don't have to be so strict about all these things. So Prabhu's, if Vaikuntha plane comes now, are you ready to board it? How many of you are ready? It's very easy to raise hand. We will not. Arey, I have to tell this couple, 50 हो गया तेरा, चल घर के बाहर, आजा मंदिर में, मुझे बताना है. So we are all very attached to this principle, so attached. We have to become detached. These principles are there, but we should be strictly following in one's own life. Not that, oh, mera phasa hua hai counseling. One has to go out. One should not be so attached. We are very attached to our principles. See how heated discussion is going on. Yeah, ऐसा वैसा ऐसा कैसे बोल रहे हैं. So that shows we are very attached. Let's just be frank. Let's be open. We are attached. One should be detached also, isn't it? So many things are happening in front of our eyes in the world. We are not able to do anything. Though we may have well wishes, COVID should stop and cows should not be. So many slaughters. So many things are going on. We have our principles. They should not be killed. But ultimately, we will be killed by the wills of time. So we have to be ready. The thing is, all the things are going by the will of the Supreme. So rather than seeing faults everywhere, let me see what is the principle that I am supposed to follow in my life. That is most important. Then others, Krishna will deal with them. Somebody is wrongly misguiding other. Krishna will deal with him. Even if Guru misguides his disciple, Krishna will see the Guru. Krishna made him Guru. Krishna will do something, whatever is required. We have to learn detachment. Such a person, detached worker, only can chant peacefully. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Otherwise, why this counselor guided, that counselor like that, and why this fellow is bringing so much money and he's being promoted in the temple, and that book distributor, he has not distributed, but so much, and all that, so much. We have to become a little cool down. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. We have not become happy because we are not chanting properly. So let us chant properly. Then we'll be all cool. उसका कुछ भी हो जाए, इसका कुछ भी हो जाए, मेरा बॉडी का भी सब कुछ होने वाला है. So let me cool down. Yes.
Hare Krishna. My point was to ask quickly about this. It is like once the principle is for oneself, and like the principle we are following for oneself, it is all right. But we are staying in a society also, like where ISKCON is society. My motive to ask that question was that oneself, we can just follow that. Whatever the principles we are sticking
No, we are
with
not
ourselves.
following. Please, I beg forgiveness. Many of the principles in our own lives we are not able to follow properly. That's why we feel a lot of disturbance. ISKCON is home also, and ISKCON is office also. So we have to know when to act like an office man and when to act like a home. Like some grasta is there. You may desire that he should get out of his family life at the age of 50 and come to temple and do a lot of services. You may be very close also. So now when he comes in front of you, he is with his wife. So you should not burn in heart. What is this? This fellow is not yet dissociating from the wife. No, he's your friend. He's a devotee. He's chanting Hare Krishna. Let's be friendly. Let's be human. And as far as his whether when he should associate, dissociate, that let his guru decide.
No, the thing is that like whatever the principles we can follow individually, we can just check with our spiritual master or the representative. It is all right. That is thing. But whenever we are staying in a society like ISKCON, and we are seeing or we are just understanding that is like the principles are been diluted or something, or we have to check with somebody, then who is a person? Like that's why actually since like it is a question of the Grahastha ashram and Vanaprastha ashram, it is not much concern about me.
That's
like
what I'm saying. First, we all are brahmacharis here. So as a brahmachari, the duties I have been assigned in scriptures first. Am I following? Okay, yes. Next, am I following my guru's orders? What is he expecting of me as his disciple? Second, okay, you are convinced of that also. Then next, the president, the GBC there, wherever you are, your counselor, have you satisfied them? How many of us have clarified? How many of you have consulted your whatever counselor or whatever guru, and they have certified that you are doing very wonderfully as a brahmachari? Raise your hand. Even I cannot raise hand. I don't check with Radhesham Pro or whosoever, because, and I'm a little afraid also. If I go, he'll say, come on, you do this. And I'll go, he'll say, you travel all over India. अपने इधर ही दौड़ने दो अंदर ट्रीटमेंट खत्म होने दो. So see, a lot of expectations are there of my superior from me as a first of all a normal devotee, then next as a brahmachari, and third as a so-called senior brahmachari. There are so many expectations which I know I am not able to follow, but I wish to follow in future. So before sorting out my own life, my obedience, How can I get into others' lives? One who has preached to his mind, such a person can preach to others.
Prabhu, I am not talking about the individual cases. I am just talking on the principal level where actually we are as a citizen of India, we are concerned about India also. Like in general, I am not talking about in a devotee case, but if something is happening wrong with India or the principles which are being violated by somebody, that
So what was
if
Bhakti
we can
Siddhanta
if we
Thakur's-
can just have that at least erasing a thing that is it right or wrong?
I will
So
ask
that
you
is
the
all.
question. What was Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's stand on this when he met Prabhupada in 1922? That was much bigger difficulty India had than what we are thinking of today. This is nothing in comparison to those days.
Sorry, then we can talk with you like personally. Just like that.
Fine.
Okay, whatever I am just speaking and you are speaking, it is quite a different something.
Yeah,
I will come to you
speaking
personally.
on very high platform from Bhaktisan Thakur's platform and Guru's platform. वो वो हम देखने वाले नहीं है. See, as a brahmacharis, all of us have to become very innocent. So we lose our innocence because of seeing all the faults because of our society. Please hear. तो ठीक है ना, तो आप दोनों वो फॉलो करो. ठीक है, सी अगर आपको पर्सनली किसी को डिसएग्री होना है तो दैट इज अलाउड. ठीक है, चलो, I will not, I beg forgiveness from all of you and personally His Grace Dhirshan Prabhu and His Grace Anand Gopru, because I have to complete this syllabus which is my authorities which I am very concerned about. ठीक है, चलो आप बोल दो जहां भी आपको लगता है कि एग्जाम्पल बाहर का आ गया, प्रभु जी स्टॉप इट, आई विल स्टॉप इट. आई एम वेरी ओपन. But you let me know where it is not pleasing to you. Otherwise, I will go on the way. Naturally, everybody goes on the way he is, isn't it? Naturally. And everybody can disagree. That's not a problem. Everybody is an individual. Isn't it? We hear so many things in philosophy, but it's not that we follow in life. We wish to, maybe in future, like that. So, okay, we will go. Gayatri break. But we are lagging now. We're supposed to reach 24 around. And I will have to rush through now because if we take 1 o'clock Gayatri break, is it okay? If you want bio break for 2 minutes, you may go. 1 o'clock also we can do. हाँ, ठीक है ना, वही तो. And Gayatri time is till the Lord takes rest. So no problem. Okay, so we'll go now fast because some. Okay, so 9th one. Griheshu krita dharmeshu dukkha tantreshu atandritah kurvan dukkha pratikaram sukhavan manyate grihi. The attached householder remains in his family life, which is full of diplomacy and politics, always spreading miseries and controlled by acts of sense gratification. He acts just to counteract the reactions of all his miseries. And if he can successfully counteract such miseries, he thinks that he is happy. So that word kurvan dukkha pratikaram sukhavat manyati. If he is able to counteract the misery, kurvan dukkha pratikar, dukkha ka pratikar kar paya, he considers he is very happy. But unfortunately, he's stuck up in so many other things. Prabhupada in purport says, if something is going on in the name of happiness, that is also illusion. This world Krishna has stamped as Dukkhalayam, abode of miseries. So there is no happiness here. But there is something, some happiness. What is that? That is illusion. As much as illusion one has, that much he can be happy. So very gross example of a drunkard. He's so much in illusion that he feels so happy. In fact, he will offer you the bottle of wine also, saying, come on, take this. This is the secret of my happiness. Why don't you also become happy like me? This is very gross ignorance and illusion. So as much as illusion one carries, that much he feels happiness. Siddharth, who later on became Gautam Buddha, we can see when he came to see some old man, then eventually a coughing or diseased man, and then dead body, then he got completely awakened. He understood this is horrible place, and then he left for Gaya and reached self-realization. So there we hear also that happiness in this world is temporary mitigation of pain. Same thing basically. So one is not happy in this world, but illusion makes him think that he is happy. He secures money by committing violence here and there, and although he employs it in the service of his family, he himself eats only a little portion of the food thus purchased, and he goes to hell for those for whom he earned the money in such an irregular way. We know dacoit Ratnakar, who came across Narad Muni. He was told that point only, that you will go to hell, you know. So what my relatives will share, and none of them agreed. They said, no, you are supposed to maintain us, and you are maintaining in a wrong way. So we will not come to hell. So then his eyes got opened. So this person eats food after all the family members eat. So he eats remnants, shesha. And Vishwan Chakra Thakur says that is his enjoyment is rare. What he eats, he doesn't get to eat properly. Prabhupada in purport says, the person for whom I have stolen accuses me of being a thief. Bengali proverb. The family members will not be happily saying, yeah, good, you did it so nicely. They superficially may say, but inside they always have so many demands. Other could have provided me this also, that also. So one will not be able to satisfy his family members, materially speaking. Spiritually, one will be able to satisfy many people or all the people as much as he is Krishna conscious. Like that. By earning money by unfair means, he cannot enjoy life. That is called the covering illusion of Maya. Next, 11 to 13 are talking about unsuccessful in maintaining family leads to committing violence and goes to hell. He's not successful. Nobody will be able to satisfy his family members. Superficially, they may say, but it's not possible. Materially, it is impossible. 11th, when he suffers reverses in his occupation, he tries again and again to improve himself. But when he is baffled in all attempts and is ruined, he accepts money from others because of excessive greed. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, desires others' wealth. He accepts money means desires others' wealth. 12th, thus the unfortunate man, unsuccessful in maintaining his family members, is bereft of all beauty. He always thinks of his failure, grieving very deeply. He sighs, shwasati. His mood, he's bewildered. So he sighs because he's not successful. And he thinks, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, he meditates on how to maintain his children. All these thoughts go on in the family members. Like we can also see, whatever, we also have some counselors, some dependents spiritually in the society of ISKCON. So we also tend to think, what about him and how I should raise him in Krishna conscious way, all those kind of thoughts. So we should also be having conviction that Krishna is the counselor, Krishna is the caretaker, and I act on his behalf. So I should not be so much in anxiety. Sometimes the counselor goes mad in a sense. He's not able to sleep in the night. So much worried about counseling. What about this? What about? Come on, you are not God. Krishna is there. Krishna is maintaining you first, and through you, he's maintaining him also. So don't be so much in anxiety. We should not take so much headache. We should take service and do it responsibly, but we should not get covered over by that. Just like they say, खाने के लिए जीना या जीने के लिए खाना, और जीने के लिए थोड़ा खाना. So similarly, Krishna is maintainer. This has to be always very clear. Everything is owned and controlled by the Supreme. This consciousness is Krishna consciousness. Krishna is controlling everything. I'm just a puppet in his hands, and let me dance as he wants me to dance. 13. Seeing him unable to support them, his wife and others do not treat him with the same respect as before, even as miserly farmers do not accord the same treatment to their old and worn out oxen. In the world today, though, this is very clearly seen, and how old, many times there are no ox allowed to born, only bull. There are professions now in the world how to take the semen and impregnate a cow, and only a cow will be born. Bull cannot be born only. So they have that processing, and they get high paid salary like that. And what to speak of those who have old bulls, when they find they are no more functioning, useless according to their calculation, they don't see bull as father. Like that. In fact, nowadays fathers also old, they are also considered a burden only, and they are put in old age homes. 2 generations back, I have seen in my family how the old father having 4 sons, all graduates working in suburbs of Mumbai, having their flats, and father was kept in old age home. Pathetic. He would cry there. I have 4 sons and I have to be here in this old age home. And he was addicted to smoking bidi, but the money was not enough. So he would little bit smoke and afterwards extinguish. After some hours again, like that. And that is, I'm talking material example. But the point is, this is how old people, or for that matter, like old ox is treated. That is the way people are treating their parents, father in particular. So that yeah, that is there. The grandfather, and they tell him to run, and the grandsons run behind him, and they hunt him literally, and then they cut him, cook him, and eat also. So that is very horrible. But in general, here it is said how he is unwanted. 14 to 18th are talking about old age leading to disease and then death. The foolish family man does not become averse to family life, although he is maintained by those whom he once maintained. Deformed by the influence of old age, he prepares himself to meet ultimate death. The classic example is Dhritarashtra. Dhruta means accepting, or rather holding on. Rashtra means nation, chair, post, position. So one who is very attached to his post, position, nation, chair, whatever it is. So such a person is called a Dhritarashtra. And Dhritarashtra was one. After all his 100 sons were killed in the fratricidal war, and Yudhishthir became the emperor. But he was very respectful to Dhritarashtra, and he would every day morning after taking bath, he would go to Dhritarashtra, touch his feet and Gandhari's feet. So Dhritarashtra was very happy. My nephew treats me very nicely. Let's go on. But it was Vidur who came back from pilgrimage and scolded him heavily. Andham pure badhiro. Earlier only you were born blind. Now you have gone deaf also. And you are being maintained by Bhima. He throws chapati or some foodstuffs on you like a dog is thrown. And you are happy to eat that. Come on, get out of here. And the time is coming soon, Kali, when people's good qualities will diminish and all. Before that, you perfect your life. It was very heavy preaching. We all have heard, read. So then he got awakened and then he left. But everybody doesn't get Vidur kind of devotee. So then he remains in his family life only, foolishly thinking that family life, although is maintained by those whom he once maintained. So one goes on, he's not so attached, not ready to go out only. And family members so openly, if you know, how many of you seen like that? How family members, speak openly about his, directly they curse him or whatever, ये बूढ़ा इधर घर में रहता है. How many of you have witnessed? Yeah, I have also witnessed. My God, I was shocked. I was a small child. First time when I witnessed. I'm wondering why my this whatever one generation of why she's saying like this to this further generation. So that is very common in this world. Next 15th, thus he remains at home just like a pet dog and eats whatever is so negligently given to him, afflicted with many illnesses such as dyspepsia and loss of appetite. He eats only very small morsels of food and he becomes an invalid who cannot work anymore. Dyspepsia means indigestion. That is the meaning. Vishnu Chakra Thakur says he remains at home means becomes like a stone. Like a stone, whatever you do with it doesn't matter. So like that, this fellow, like a pet dog, whatever they offer him, he eats. And they don't care for such person. He is a burden for them, parasite. People very much mistreat such people. But attachment to family doesn't go away. If a man leaves home and dies without his family's knowing, that is considered to be a glorious death. But an attached family man wants his family members to carry him in a great procession even after his death. And although he will not be able to see how the procession goes, he still desires that his body be taken gorgeously in procession. In the West, that is a height of what they call foolishness. Before death, the person goes to that what they call coffin shop and he chooses, because my financial status is very high, he will choose a whatever 1 lakh, 2 lakh. Auctions, see, it's like all fools, maham donkeys. The auctions go on more on that. So utter foolishness. And India also to some extent or other, people are so much that mandanam, lokaranjanam. People decorate the dead body of the man with whatever jewelry and all. And people say that, what, how beautiful he looks. He never looked so beautiful in his life. I don't know what to call them, Pack of dogs also is insult to dogs because these are worse than dogs, hogs, donkeys. So we are so fortunate. Prabhupada brought us out of all this illusion. We are still coming out, not yet. Still bodily conception is there, but still, at least attachment. As brahmacharis, we have successfully come out grossly. And our grihasthas also, right? Shambhu recently wrote email to all the congregation members, thanking, vote of gratitude, because they gave so much money, almost, it came to what we need for this coming year, despite lockdown or second consecutive year and all that. It's not easy to shell out money in general, and what to speak of in such kind of crisis. But they understand that they should, if they cannot give life, at least wealth should be given, this wealth. Krishna will give anyway afterwards. Next, 16th. In that diseased condition, one's eyes bulge due to pressure of air from within, and his glands become congested with mucus. He has difficulty breathing, and upon exhaling and inhaling, he produces a sound like ghur, ghur, rattling within the throat. Our King Kulashekar has said that. Krishna Twadiyya Pada Pankaja Panjarantam Adyaiva me Vishatu Manasa Rajahamsa Prane Prayana Samaye Kafavata Pittai Kantavarodhana Vidho Smaranam Kutaste. Kantha will be avaruddha. It will be caught. It will be very difficult. Or if at all, sound will be like this. Ghur, ghur kind of. So that's why now when I'm young and my mind is able to dwell in the lotus feet of the Lord, let me chant and let me give up my body like this. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we have to prepare. We have to know one day we all will be, not simultaneously, we'll be lying on the deathbed, isn't it? In 2099, how many of us will be there? I will not be there. Those who take pleasure in being called as seniors, they have to know they will pass away early. Who passes out first from the college, the senior or the junior? Most of the time senior, sometimes the junior may, because the senior is so humble, he remains there only, generation for generation, but generally senior passes out first. So many of us like so much being called as senior, but we have to know, am I ready for departure? Not departure to station, out of body. So nothing wrong. if you're a senior, we may act guiding others, compassion, etc. But we have to know. As much as materially I derive pleasure in being called a senior, I may have to leave early. I have less time remaining with me. So ghur ghur sound comes. In this way, he comes under the clutches of death and lies down, surrounded by lamenting friends and relatives. And although he wants to speak with them, he no longer can, because he's under the control of time. Very nice picture. I don't know whether you can display there, but you can see in your this only devotees have taken. They have painted so nicely. I think you all have in your own. In fact, two color plates combined. How they are there. They know his time of living has come. So this is what everybody has to prepare. Ajamil's also photo is there like that. So one day we have to leave this world, but then attachment is there. Although he wants to speak with them, he no longer can. वो बताना चाहते वो क्या क्या, बेटा माँ का ख्याल रखना, दुकान को ठीक से देखना, all that, so many unlimited attachment. This fellow where he is going, he doesn't know, and he's telling, माँ का ख्याल रखना. अरे तेरा ख्याल कौन रखेगा? वो यमदूत आ रहे आगे already. Next is described also. So इसका क्या होगा, उसका क्या होगा? अरे क्या बोलते हो, तेरा क्या होगा? काली है और क्या हो? तो काली है ना, उसके काले ही करतूत है, तो तेरा क्या होगा? So he is not so much. For formality's sake, when a man is lying on his deathbed, his relatives come to him, and sometimes they cry very loudly, addressing the dying man. Oh my father, oh my friend, or oh my husband. In that pitiable condition, the dying man wants to speak with them and instruct them of his desires. कैसे क्या आगे चलाना है सब कुछ, खुद कैसे चलने वाला है पता नहीं, आगे दिखाने वाले वो, they are going to describe how he has to walk. So this is called as grand illusion, or whatever it is, grandest illusion. That one doesn't know where is he heading to, and he's concerned about his wife, his child, and shop and whatnot, all that stuff. You all have heard that story. The man was very attached. Children had taken up the business, etc. They thought this fellow so much attached. Let us go him. Let us take him to pilgrimage. So they sent him in sadhu, and they went everywhere, all holy places. And then after coming, at Kashi or something, he started crying. And the person, he felt, wow, now this person, I think, is going to take to spiritual life. And I was like, क्या realization है? बोले अरे पूरा जिंदगी बर्बाद किया. हाँ वही सही, कैसे बर्बाद किया? अरे मैंने कपड़े का दुकान चलाया, लकड़ी का दुकान चलाना चाहिए था, क्योंकि दिस इज एवर ग्रीन बिजनेस. लोग मरते हैं हमेशा, कितना मर रहे हैं, कितना लकड़ियां लग रही है. मैं ज्यादा कमाता था अगर, आई वुड हैव बीन अ wood seller, whatever. So this is the, like a secure cocoon, and what do you call that, worm in the cocoon. So this is what we have to get out of. Time is there apparently, but we don't know. Mahapurush Prabhu, how many of you were there? It happened there. I was not there, but I was told he was in front of some devotees. Yeah, and then yes, very quickly it happened. He's the first brahmachari who has left body, as far as I know, in Pune temple, though little younger than many of us. So anytime our time also may come. So one should know. So before that only, one should be internally detached from all the world. Thus the man who engaged with uncontrolled senses in maintaining a family dies in great grief, seeing his relatives crying. He dies most pathetically, in great pain and without consciousness. Many times person goes in coma and all that stuff. So we pray that, at least some devotee should be around. That's why we should not have enmity with devotees. As His Holiness Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj says, what if the devotee you don't like, he is only there at the time of death next to you? कैसे बोलेंगे उनको, प्रभु जी थोड़ा कीर्तन करेंगे क्या? इसका मुंह तो मैं जीवन भर नहीं देखना चाहता था, और यही कल मुंह अभी आ गया. अभी क्या करूं, लेकिन जा भी रहा हूं मैं बॉडी से, तो इनको यही एक दिख रहे. लाइक अवर कुरेश एंड Mahapurna, both were blinded, isn't it? When they were reaching Srirangam, Mahapurna was the one elderly living body, and Kuresh was next to him. So sometimes we could also be like that, isn't it? Somehow we may be there with the devotee whom we don't like, and our time of departure may come. So that's why before leaving body, one should get NOC, no objection certificate, from all the devotees. In Christian world, there is a tradition. They go to all the known friends, acquaintances, and say, please forgive me. In life, I have committed some mistakes, or I might have committed, and you might have felt bad. Please don't hold any grudge or anything, because now अपना time आ गया है. I have to depart. So please let my next destination be smooth, isn't it? So all of us also are here. So we are friends, you know. Likely, hopefully, when I am dying, all of you are there and doing loud kirtan. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. If not all, at least His Grace Anand Go Prabhu and His Grace Dhir Shant Prabhu could be there. If not both, at least His Grace Dhir Shant Prabhu is on the same floor. So he can do. He can come on his cycle running in my room and he can do kirtan, isn't it? So yeah, he's my hope, isn't it? Because sometimes, many times I'm alone in the ashram and sometimes he's my ashram partner. Only two of us. So you are changing his destination. You are helping him. Nothing like that. Best thing. महाराज का क्या था? हाँ.
हार्ट अटैक आ रहा है तो वैसा ही शरीर छोड़ दो सब लोग कीर्तन करते हैं.
Jai is very fortunate. हो सकता है, नहीं भी हो सकता है, you know, क्योंकि इस पिछला एक कर्म हो गया, लेकिन इस लाइफ में भी इतना बिताया.
हम बचपन से वो कीर्तन ही करते थे.
हाँ तो वही तो ना, वो बढ़ता गया ना. भगवान ने देखा कि सुटेबल कैंडिडेट है, ले लो कीर्तन में इसको, बेस्ट पर्सन, बेस्ट थिंग. सो हाँ, तो Krishna arranged. Every jiva has a every devotee has a sincere desire. So Krishna arranges his departure time accordingly. That's why we should have very nice relationship with all the devotees, so that maximum number of devotees could be there, you know, to give us send off back to the spiritual world only. By their grace we could go. All are His grace. So by their grace we could go. But if we think not He is His grace, He is disgrace. Then our destination question mark. So that should not be there with anyone. Next, 19 to 34 talks about his post-death experience. This is very horrible. Those short trailer kind of. 19th talks about how he passes stool and urine seeing Yamadutas. The word is Yamaduto, Tada Prapto. 2 Yamadutas come. In Ajamil's section we find 3. 4. 4 who? 4. The Vishnu Dutas. They are 4 because Na, Ra, Ya, Na. So 4 Vishnu Dutas. But one commits sins with his body, mind and words. That's why 3. That's what Prabhupada says in Purport. But I asked His Grace, our Kanai Krishna Prabhu. He said, no, there are descriptions of 2 also. So sometimes 2, sometimes 3. Whatever. They must be having their management meeting for guest reception or send off from here and guest reception there. How many to send? Like we also decide here, if some Maharaj is coming, whether to send 1 devotee, 2, 3, sometimes 10, 15, if he's Guru, GPC, etc. So like that, whatever the case, at least he did not tell me any details. Why 2 sometimes, why 3 sometimes. By the way, who becomes Yamduta? Anybody has heard? Urdhvam gachanti, sattvastha, madhye tishtanti, rajasa, jaganya, gunavrittistha, tamo adho gachanti tamasa. So who? I have heard once from His Holiness Bhakti Vidyapada Maharaj, if I'm remembering, a little bit that I remember is those who are very religious in their lives, personal life, like that, and they feel that strictly one should follow dharmic rules, etc. But then after their death, their relatives only, what do you call, ancestors, they don't offer them pinda and all that. So they are kind of bankrupt. So they are not able to get the further destination. So they remain stuck as Yamaduta. And that's why they can punish. Come on, tumne ye nahi kiya. You spoke lies, because they themselves had been following that. But not like lacking pious credits, they're not getting better body. They are stuck up in the Yamaduta, and then they do this service. Maybe by Yamaduta, Yamaraj's association, they may get killed. Huh? ब्रह्मचारी हमारे लिए पिंडदान की जरूरत नहीं, हम पिंड से पहले ही अभिन्न हो जाए, भिन्न हो जाए, है ना? That's what जीवन मुक्त सा उच्यते, not required for us. For us, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Asti Visarjan can be done maybe, whatever. Revati Prabhu will know. ISKCON stand or at least something. Sarvashan Prabhu, in case you heard. No? At least for His Holiness Gaur Krishna Das Maharaj, His Holiness Radha Govind Swami Maharaj said that it should be cremated, in a sense, fire, like that. And then, give him the mic.
मायापुर में क्या हुआ, एक बार एक एल्डरली ब्रह्मचारी का शरीर छोड़ दिए थे, तो सभी ब्रह्मचारी इस गंगा के पास उनको शरीर जला दिए और डांसिंग कीर्तन हुआ और इसके बाद इमीडिएटली फीस्ट हो गया, मतलब खत्म और कुछ नहीं.
Hari Bol. And we have that condolence ceremony in which condolence, or rather what you call, huh? Memorial. So in that we discuss about his glories, services, how glorious life he led, etc. That's all. And after death, we should not talk ill about anyone, though we might have had with him. That should never be spoken after his death. Bhaktan Thakur, once he was passing by, and two, three of them, Brahmachari disciples, they were talking, "Are ye cook mar gaya, bahut achhe hua, bahut gadbad karta tha aur bahut." He was a very heavy fellow, like that. And he was just passing by. He immediately stopped. But did you not see that he was chanting Hare Krishna? He was cooking for so many devotees for so many years. He spoke very heavily, means very grave voice. And he got stunned. Guru Maharaj is speaking, and then he left. So we should not, it is Shastric recommendation, one should not speak ill of person who is no more now. Because अभी वो कर नहीं सकता कुछ इस बॉडी में, तो आप इतना क्या ऐसा करना चाहिए था, उसने वैसा करना चाहिए था, ऐसा करता तो अच्छा होता. अभी कहाँ है वो? You did not do anything good for him, and he's left now. He cannot improve now. He's gone to next body. We don't even know which body. We can pray. Prayers can reach to the departed soul, but our accusing and all is, Krishna will be angry with us only. So one should not do that. It's a Shastric injunction. No, these gurus, those who are they're reached Krishna prem. So many God brothers of Maharaj said. Then Prabhupada called him for his service. So he's gone. He was always Prabhupada conscious. How many of you agree? My God, so highly Prabhupada conscious. One of the top lovers of Prabhupada. His name is Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj. We're talking about. Everywhere. Prabhupada. In fact, his Vas Puja, what would it be? Prabhupada memorial, Prabhupada glorification. About him, I don't think they would not talk, no? He would not allow them, no? Isn't it? About him, they would not, disciples. Huh? Few. So, gurus, they will not be, for them, samadhi. At death, he sees the messengers of the Lord of death come before him, their eyes full of wrath, and in great fear, he passes stool and urine. I had gone to Sasun hospital once, general ward. So I saw so many beds there. They have that, because of passing urine, etc. Like that. Because so many sins people do, and Yamadutas come, and people get scared. They can see. And the dogs bark, if you see in that photo. Dogs can see Yamadutas. Whatever. They have that special vision. Then next 20 to 23, 4 verses talk on the way to hell. how bitter he's bitten by dogs, he's tormented by thirst, hunger, falls in fatigue, and he has to pass a long distance in very short time. He's given yatana deha. Yatana deha means a body, because the soul has gone out of the earlier body with mind, intelligence, and false ego. No gross body. It remains here. It is cremated, whatever. So that body, he's given another body, yatana deha. As I have heard earlier, it is very thin-skinned body. Just like our skin has some thickness, whatever it is. So make it very thin. Like when we go out, sometimes hot sun, we are there for 5-6 hours. We feel, you can see the temperature of the skin is little bit heated up. So imagine very thin skin. When the sun is there, it will start melting. And when he's whipped, it will be torn. That kind of body is given. But still he cannot die. That is not, Yamadutas cannot kill him. That's not allowed. That's not possible for them. They cannot do that. So Jiva Goswami says body suitable for punishment is offered to him. That is called as Yatana Deha. He gets that body. As a criminal is arrested for punishment by the constables of the state, a person engaged in criminal sense gratification is similarly arrested by the Yamadutas, who bind him by the neck with strong rope and cover his subtle body so that he may undergo severe punishment. Yamanirmit Yatana Dehe. And I don't know who, maybe he's only Radha Govind Swami Maharaj said, अपान वायु से जो जीव निकलता है उसे यातना देह दिया जाता है. उसका लक्षण है कि वो मलमूत्र विसर्जित करता है. तो अपान वायु means downward flowing, So he passes through what you call genital or anus. So he will get yatana deha. He will get yama yatna on the way, and there also. Prabhupada says that in the middle of the first paragraph, it is not the business of the constables of Yamraj to put one to death. Prabhupada also speaks from Chaitanya Charitamrita how a criminal in the bygone ages would be dunked in the water in the middle of the river and would be asked, tell the truth. And when he doesn't tell, they would again put him there. And when he's gasping for life, about to give a body, again he's taken out. Like that. So it's very close to death experience. So this person also gives a lot of suffering. That is described in the next verses. But I think we'll end here. Any question? So is that clear? First 3 verses talk about powerful time, what happens. And then next was about how maintenance is. Yeah. Okay, one question we'll take. Yeah, online.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, you can ask question. Shyam Lila Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, can you hear me?
Yes.
Prabhuji, this training and the punishment given, Yatna Deha, all this is given so that the living entity first that he can actually adapt to the new body which is going to get, and also it is punishment. So now the point is that since the living entity does not remember anything, what is the use of giving punishment?
No, it is there. No, he does remember, but not in the direct thing. Like we can also see in our life, we have undergone so many sufferings, but still we also try to be cozy, in a sense, little comfortable. But because we are hearing Shastra Vachan, Guru Vachan, so we will be somehow trying to come out. So over a period of time, this jiva also will understand. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadate. So it is not just during like that also. Somewhere he will come across devotees and then everything will click to him. Like all of us have suffered to different degrees. But when we come across devotee, then everything clicks and then we feel, yeah, this is very miserable. I must get out of it. So because earlier also we had that understanding. His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu says that when that WTC was exploded, then for next 1 week, nobody was ready to board the planes. Everybody was scared. Planes were going empty. But then afterwards, again, everybody started going inside and going by the plane. Why? Because they got scared. So one understands overall material world is a miserable place, but Maya overpowers him again. So this will keep happening. It happens to us also. When nice feast is given, so we feel, wow, so nice as a brahmachari. We also feel that. But again, when we hear Shastra Vachan, we come to understand reality. So similarly, that man or person who suffers in hell, it will eventually click to him, but it will take long time. And it will require mainly some contact with devotee. Then he will come to them. So it is otherwise, Yamaraj and others, they're like, then that means that service is useless only. It's like what do you call, beating the empty husk. So it is not like that. So overall, to make them understand this material world is a miserable place, isn't it? Like even before coming to ISKCON, we all knew this is a miserable place to some extent or the other. But the sense gratification goes on because of Maya, and then eventually we coming across devotee, we immediately accept it, depending on how much we were realized of that, and again how much we serve devotee. So don't think it is useless. It comes somewhere. I'm not remembering where. It comes that how over a period of long time he will come to senses. Okay, Prabhu?
Okay, Brother.
Immediately he will not, but it will take long time. So
Prabhuji, I
fine?
also have a question.
Okay, one
Hare
question.
Krishna.
One more.
Yeah, governmental Prabhu, you can ask Prabhuji.
Very good. Prabhuji, when can you hear me?
Yes.
When we were discussing about seniors like those who have crossed the age of 50, they should leave and go to Vana, like it is mentioned there. But what I find, there are many seniors who are useful to temple now. Now also, like we see, like Jaidev Prabhu, donating so much financially also. So
Yes.
do you expect us seniors to leave all our this material work and go for
No, no.
spiritual?
That's what I said very clearly. You should ask your guru. What is your guru expecting of you? Because he's the one who is going to take you back to Godhead. So every disciple should directly talk to guru, especially before he's reaching age 50, if he's proactive. And if not, when he reaches 50, maybe he's a little reactive. And after the age of 50, at the earliest, he should ask his guru that I'm going on like this, so what do you expect, like that? And guru also will know who stands where, and accordingly he will guide. It is guru's responsibility to take him back to Godhead, but based on disciple also. So disciple should surrender to guru and ask clearly. All of us should have somebody guiding us. Now we should know clearly what should I be doing at this point of time in my life, whether you are a brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha, or whatever. Yeah. So it is, if the guru says no, you are doing well, even if you are elderly 70-year-old and you are doing well financially, you are supporting temple, you are a big support. If you are not there, then it will be big trouble for the, like somebody was saying Radhesham Prabhu should do the management of the temple. Then I said, something was there. I said, if Revtipati Prabhu and Sarolakshmi Prabhu both go for preaching, then whole load will come on Radhesham Prabhu and he will not be able to do his preaching properly. So that's why these two, they are sacrificing their, and they have to do the managerial responsibilities. So similarly, grihasthas also, they have to do according to Guru's wish only. Principle is you must, in fact, before while entering grihastha ashram only, we should think of coming out of it. Prabhupada's father, Gaur Monde, that's what he prepared him for. They saw two girls, Prabhupada liked the other girl, not that Radha Rani, whatever, and he suggested father, why not marry her? But then the father said, no, from your future Krishna conscious progress point of view, better to marry this woman. Other beautiful girl, you will get attached. You will not be able to come out of family. So the principle we discuss, principle remains the same. Principle will never change. Panchashordham vanam rajat. One has to give up family life after 50. Now what it means, not necessarily going to one, it means going to temple or rendering more and more services to temple, not getting into family life more and more, expanding business, now side business. One should not expand. That is winding up time. So that's what everybody is different, and the guru only will know. So principally, it is very clear. And as far as practically, the guru should decide for you, every individual. Like even in brahmacharis, some people are told you take sannyas. Some people are told you become president here. So not all brahmacharis have same life eventually as they grow into seniority. So all are different. So like that, guru only is one point. He should be contacted. Is that okay, Prabhu?
Okay, okay.
Okay, so thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, समस्त गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदी.
More questions.
Tomorrow, tell them tomorrow.
Hare Krishna.